solving any problem is recognizing there is one.
It's time we started talking. Pain isn't something we talk.
All we can ever do for our heroes is remember them, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. They gave up everything for our country, for us. They prayed for freedom and justice.
Some veterans not getting the timely care that they need. Less than 1% of Americans serving in uniform. Good news is that in recent years we've made historic investments to boost the VA budget.
What is it? Why should we care?
We should care about press freedom
because we were informed.
In democratic societies, free, diverse, and pluralist media enable public debates and are essential checks
You don't
on
look
power.
satisfied. Let's discuss.
Hey guys, welcome to Vet podcast. New episode, VA new appeals process. As a short reminder, Vet is a non-profit educational project dedicated to assist veterans with adjustment to civilian lifestyle and to provide assistance in obtaining your VA and other available benefits you have earned. So today we are talking about new VA appeal process.
Yeah, so this is new for all of us. So if we get something wrong, let us know and we'll try to correct it. But yeah, this is pretty new, so we're going to figure out how this all works out eventually.
Yeah, it's impossible to listen to and read news reports concerning the VA without finding volumes of information, mostly negative, regarding the delays in the benefit system. And what likely will not be found is information explaining why some of the reasons for delays in system are actually positives. So this podcast will address the aspects of Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act that was signed in 2017 and came into effect this year in February.
Yep.
So we did a couple episodes ago, season 3, episode 7, DoD and VA Appeals, that we touched on that new Modernization Act and a little bit about VA appeal system. Today we're gonna go a little bit about this topic a little bit in depth, how VA presents it, and give us our opinions, our own opinion.
Yep.
So at least it took me myself some time to figure out, what's the difference, even though it's pretty easy to see the pamphlet or see a YouTube video. So let's go into the topic.
Yep.
Here is a link on the screen of VA YouTube video that explains Appeals and Modernization Act in 4 minutes. So we want to go a little bit in script of this video because it explains pretty well, and then we'll give our opinions on each of those new ways.
So VA is cutting down on the traffic and wait times in the decision review process. Have you heard, thanks to the Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act of 2017, veterans like you now have a choice on how the review of your decision is processed so you can get the fastest decision possible. The new and faster appeals modernization review process goes into effect February 19, 2019. For any eligible VA decision disagreement and offers more choices in how decision disagreements are processed. Lanes with appeals modernization, you get to choose between 3 new lanes to have your decision disagreement reviewed. You can choose from the higher level review, the supplemental claim, or the appeal to the Board of Veterans Appeals. As a higher level review means that your disagreement is reviewed by a more experienced claim adjudicator in this lane. You can't submit any additional evidence for your claim. It is reviewed only with the information considered in the previous decision. You and your representative can also request to have an informal telephone conference with a higher level review about your disagreement. The supplemental claim lane gives you the choice to submit new and relevant evidence to support your claim before it's reviewed again. VA will even assist you in gathering evidence. This lane is helpful if you know there is missing information from your original claim or you have new and relevant evidence to submit. Then a claim adjudicator will review your claim along with your new and relevant evidence. The appeal lane allows you to appeal directly to the Board of Veterans Appeals with a notice of disagreement and choose one of three options. You can choose a direct review if you do not want to submit new evidence and do not want a hearing. You can choose evidence submission to submit new evidence without a hearing, or you can choose a hearing to submit new evidence and have a hearing with a veterans law judge. All of the lanes provide veterans with a faster resolution of their disagreements. VA is working to decide higher level reviews and supplemental claims with an average of 125 days, and decisions from the board and the direct review docket are given within an average of 365 days. All of these options are significantly better compared to the 3 to 7 year long wait under the old process appeals modernization. Of the old process. Appeals modernization puts you back in the driver's seat of your disagreement and gets you the faster decision you've been waiting for. Want to learn how you can get your decision faster? Go to benefitsva.gov/benefits/appeals ASAP.
So that's an official script. We're gonna give our comments because we still don't know, how it's gonna work in on a longer time frame.
Yeah.
So the main point that there are three lanes that you can choose yourself. It's a supplemental claim lane, a higher level review lane, and appeal to the board, and appeal to the Veterans Board.
And the supplemental claim, the major thing you're thinking about is you could still submit new evidence. The higher level review, you can't. You're more arguing about a fact or a law or like an error, but you can't submit anything else. And the appeal to the board is basically saying I want to talk to a judge and talk to somebody with more experience about my case.
So, once I think we figure out which lane is better, so we can still have traffic on that lane afterwards.
More than likely, from what I'm seeing, I think the supplemental review is probably going to be the better option for most people. So I think you're going to see that a little more often than the others. But of course, it always comes down to what's going on with why they denied you or gave you a low percentage in the first place.
So decision review options. So as Joe mentioned, the first one is supplemental claim. When you can add a new and relevant evidence. You can file a supplemental claim within 1 year of a decision if you have new evidence. So you can submit or identify new and relevant evidence to support your claim. VA will provide assistance in developing the evidence officially. So modernize the current claims and appeal process. It includes the 3 review options for disagreement with decisions. It requires improved notification of VA decisions. It provides earlier claim resolution and ensure you receive the earliest effective date possible.
So welcome to the new evidence lane. You have 1 year from the date of your decision to file additional evidence. Under the new law, this is now referred to as a supplemental claim. In this lane, you may submit additional evidence that is new and relevant. Upon receipt of your new evidence, VA will attempt to make a decision within 125 days. Your effective date, the day from which the VA will pay your benefits, will be the day you first file the claim, long as it's still active.
So once the adjudicator makes a decision, you must ask yourself, are you satisfied with this decision? At this point, you get to choose from the 3 options again. As you have already done, you can submit additional evidence within a year and preserve the date of your claim. 2, you can request a higher level review, or 3, board review lane. So, in my opinion, it's still VA, so you still have to deal with VA. The good thing is that you can add new evidence. So I can guess that every year you would go to one of the doctors and either private or VA, and he tells that your condition aggravated or it got better. So in my opinion, it would be new evidence of your claim, but it's I don't know how it's going to connect to initial claim, but any changes in your condition that relates to your claim would be considered, in my opinion, new evidence.
Yeah, so the threshold for new and material has been lowered So now they're looking more for new and relevant. It's a little bit of a difference when it comes to the law part of it, but basically the bar is set a little lower for you, so you got better odds there of bringing in relevant evidence more than material evidence.
Yeah. So the second one is when you ask for new look from a senior reviewer. It's request a higher level review. It's pretty much it's still VA, so it's a senior guy who has a little bit more experience or who made his way up VA ladder, most likely with seniority. So it's still VA.
Yeah, and so basically this one, when you're picking the higher review, is saying, I think they messed up and I gave them everything that should have awarded me or should have gave me a higher percentage, so I want your manager to look at this.
So yeah, you're asking for another review of the same evidence.
Yeah.
A senior reviewer will take another look at your case and determine whether the decision can be changed based on a difference opinion or an error that VA made.
Yeah, so for example, you get your decision, they deny you, and it says there's no current diagnosis, you're going to want to go to the supplemental lane. If you get denied, or if they say they give you 0% for headaches, and you're arguing that, no, my headaches are way worse than 0%, and I gave you the evidence that proves this, then you could use the higher level review and say, can you check this over again?
So yeah, your claim is reviewed by a more senior claim adjudicator and involves a higher level de novo, the new look review of the decision. No submission of new evidence allowed. The possibility of overturning the decision based on a difference of opinion, a clear and unmistakable error. So the reviewer who identifies or learns of a duty to assist error can return the claim to the regional office for correction. You or your representative can request an informal phone call to identify specific issues. Myself, I see it's a little bit difficult to identify it because most likely once the reviewer goes through your case, he asks for a second opinion from his supervisor.
Yeah.
So then you have a supervisor who reviews the same claim. Maybe not the same guy, but a different supervisor from the same system.
Yeah, so this is more, I would assume more towards like subjective things, you know, like chronic pain, mental health issues, headaches, common, things like that where you think your evidence is already super strong, but for some reason they gave you a low percentage or straight up denied you.
Yeah, you have 1 year from the initial claim to seek this route. This lane allows for a quality check on the original opinion while still at the VA regional office. Now you cannot submit additional evidence or request a hearing here. The reviewer is de novo, which is fancy Latin meaning review without giving way to the prior decision. If the decision is favorable, the original claim date is preserved. If it's unfavorable, you have an option to file a supplemental claim.
Yeah.
Or to file a notice of disagreement to appeal to the board. And so no new DVD evidence, it's probably a better option. If you haven't developed any evidence within a year, so your case might look a little bit weak.
Yeah, so pay attention to why they denied you.
Yeah, because it's one thing, it's how you feel and how your life goes on everyday basis, how much you suffer, and the second one is how it is documented on the paper.
So, appeals to the veteran law judge or a request to the Board of Appeal. The board's goal for deciding appeals with no new evidence and no hearing is about a year. This option allows you to appeal directly to the Board of Veterans Appeals. You can choose between the three options. So there's three options within this one lane. You got the direct review, you have no new evidence and do not want a hearing. It's just basically like the higher level review, judge me on what I already gave you, I think there's a problem here. Evidence submission, you have new evidence but do not want a hearing. So you have the new evidence and you think you're solid and I don't need to say anything more. It's all right here. You could go with that, which I probably wouldn't do really for the most part. I think you're better off in person, especially if you're going to the Board of Appeals. And of course, the hearing as the third option, you have new evidence and want to testify before a veterans law judge. The reason I think it's better to go in person is because you could directly tell somebody what you're thinking and why you believe this should be corrected. If you're hoping for evidence and you haven't been successful this far, it's probably better to go in person.
Yeah, this is where you file a notice of disagreement, and your case moves from the regional office to the Board of Veterans Appeals. Here there will be 3 lanes to choose from, as John mentioned. And if the decision is favorable, your original claim date is preserved. If it's unfavorable, you have an option to file a supplemental claim within a year, or you can file an appeal to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, which is outside the system. So you have 120 days to file this appeal, though.
Yeah, so if you're really trying to go to like the real Court of Appeals, you got to file right away and not be lazy about it.
And as a statistics, currently there are 67,000 veterans waiting before one of the 98 boards of Veterans Appeal judges.
Yeah.
So the wait is forever.
Yeah. And they probably get to maybe 3 cases a day if they're lucky. And a lot of those cases do get remanded for certain issues, so that's maybe not the end of it. So yeah, it's going to take a while.
And yeah, that's pretty much it, the process. And now we'll touch a little bit on the technical side of it.
Yeah, so like we mentioned, it started off in February 19, 2019. The major changes to the appeals process, the 38 CFR 3.1 claims are either initial or supplementary. An initial claim is the original claim, the first benefit claim filed by the claimant. A claim for new benefits or increased rating. A supplemental claim is a claim for the same or similar benefit on the same or similar basis as was previously decided, reopen, or request for reconsideration. So yeah, the reopens and reconsiderations are basically now on the supplemental lane. You can't just play that game anymore on a 526. 38 CFR 3.103D, rating decisions and denial letters are going to look a lot more like statements of the case. So statements of the case, if you guys have been there, are a lot more thicker than the denial letter that you're kind of used to the first time around. They explain pretty much everything that they did and why they thought this way. So the notification must include identification of the issues adjudicated, a summary of the evidence considered, a summary of the laws and regulations applicable to the claim, a listing of any findings made by the adjudicator that are favorable to the claimant. For denied claims, identification of the elements required to grant the claim that were not met. If applicable, identification of the criteria required to grant service connection or the next higher level of compensation, an explanation of how to obtain or access evidence used in making the decision, and a summary of the applicable review options available for the claimant to seek further review of the decision. 38 CFR 3.155D, there is no intent to file form for supplemental claims. If an incomplete application for a supplemental claim is filed, the claimant has 60 days from the date of the notification to provide what is necessary to complete the supplemental claim. If a complete claim is not received within 60 days, the effective date of the claim will not be retroactive to the date the VA received the incomplete claim. So make sure you don't do an intent to file over a negative decision or something you don't like. 38 CFR 3.156D, supplemental claims will receive de novo review if new and relevant evidence is submitted in support of the claim. Per CFR 3.2501A1, new evidence is evidence not previously part of the actual record before agency adjudicators. Relevant evidence is information that tends to prove or disprove a matter at issue in a claim, including evidence that raises a theory of entitlement that was not previously addressed. So there is your safe bet if you have little to nothing is probably buddy letters.
Mm-hmm.
So continuing on, and when I'm saying 38 CFR, it's the 38 Code of Federal Regulations. These are the legit laws that the VA is supposed to play with. So 38 CFR 3.159B3, VA has no duty to notify a claimant of information or evidence necessary to substantiate a claim. Upon receipt of a supplemental claim within 1 year of the date the VA issues notice of a prior decision, upon receipt of a request for higher level review, upon receipt of a notice of disagreement, or when, as a matter of law, entitlement to the benefit claim cannot be established. 38 CFR 2.400, applicability of modernized review system. Appeals modernization applies to all claims. Requests for reopening of finally adjudicated claims and requests for revision based on clear and unmistakable error, for which a decision has been issued on or after February 17, 2019, or a claimant has opted into the RAMP program, or a claimant with a legacy appeal elects to opt into the modernization review system following issuance or on or after the effective date of the modernized system of a VA statement of the case or supplemental statement of the case. 8 CFR 2.500, review of decisions. Within 1 year of the date of notification of a decision, a claimant may elect one of the review options: supplemental claim, higher level review, or the appeals to the Board of Veterans Appeals. Supplemental claims and higher level review requests are made to the agency of original adjudication. Appeals are to be submitted directly to the Board of Veterans Appeals. Supplemental claim may not be filed in connection with a request to revise a final decision of the agency of original decision based upon a clear and unmistakable error. So, if it's a clear and unmistakable error, you want to push more towards the higher level review or the Board of Veterans Appeals. 38 CFR 3.1 requires that all claims be submitted on application form prescribed by the Secretary. Forms for the supplemental claim is 21-0995. Higher level review requests are 20-0996. 38 CFR 3.1 requires that all claims be submitted on application form prescribed by the Secretary. Forms for supplemental claims are 20-0995. Higher level review requests are 20-0996. And a direct appeal to the BVA is, if you're Army, it's like the Airborne, 10182. So 10182 is direct to the board. And those are the three forms you're going to choose and how you want to appeal your decision. One of the reasons given for revamping the appeals process, get to a final decision and reduce the number of claims that are repeatedly reopened. However, as I read the new law, a supplemental claim can be filed after any decision, even from what we're believing after one by the court. If continuance of the claim is maintained, filing within a year of each decision, it seems the process could be extended almost indefinitely while preserving the original date of claim. As long as there was new evidence or basis for re-examining the decision, the entire process can be repeated. So that's kind of like the interesting thing where we're kind of questioning where it's got to go. But for the most part, it's not bad, but there's always holes in new things. A legacy claim, 3.2400B, is a claim or request for reopening or revision of a finally adjudicated claim for which VA provided notice of a decision prior to the effective date of the modernization review system, and the claimant has not elected to participate in the modernized review system. How they are to be dealt with is addressed in parts 19 and 20 of the 38 CFR. It would appear that the modernization process eliminates the statement of the case as part of the new appellant process.
You can imagine we have with this process we have a forms that we have to file. So we're going to go a little bit on the form that we get to use.
Yeah. So a basic breakdown. So you want to use the 21526EZ for new claims, claims for increase, original claims like new issues you never brought up. And keep in mind of the 12-month rule, date of decision may be filed using the 20 series if it warrants a supplemental or higher level review. The 218940, the unemployable, until further notice, when you file for the 298940, you want to use the 21526EZ and write in 218940 unemployability on the 526 and use both of those forms together. -0995 if reconsidering previously denied issues, reopens reconsiderations, and anytime new evidence will only be reviewed under the 20995, the supplemental claim. 20996, the higher level review, previously denied within 1 year or any decision made after February 19th of this year. Evidence of record will only be reviewed, so you're only arguing what you've already submitted. The 10182 for NODs, decisions on or after 2/19/18 must be filed on the 21-0958. So if it was denied a year ago, you should have used the old NOD form, but that's pretty much over now. These appeals go directly to the BVA and are handled in the BVA jurisdiction. All decisions after February 19th of this year should be filed on these new forms. So cross out the 210958. You're not going to use that anymore.
Well, that's it, guys, for today. And as always, if Joe, you have any good movie or stuff to recommend?
Yeah, so if you guys watch the Independent Film Channel, you should watch Hank Azaria's Brockmire. It's ridiculous. And if you want to read a crazy book that's kind of thick, it's a short history of nearly everything by Bill Bryson. It's pretty wild. It's a thick book, but it goes from beginning to end of all history, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and turned up quote or wisdom of the day.
If you find yourself in a fair fight, you didn't plan your mission properly.
Said by David Heckworth. That's it, folks. Thanks for listening. Until next time, over and out.
Thank you.